Ernest the engine car was looking glum. "What's up?" said Stevie the steam train. "I've had a complaint," said Ernest. "A complaint? From who?" said Stevie. "The fat controller," said Ernest. "What's the fat controller complaining about this time?" asked Stevie, who stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments. "Being called the fat controller," said Ernest. "We can't call the fat controller a fat controller anymore," said Stevie, whose stutter seemed to be getting worse. "No," said Ernest. "Then what are we supposed to call the fat controller?" asked Stevie. "The big controller," said Ernest. "We're supposed to call the fat controller a big controller," said Stevie. "Yes," replied Ernest. "Oh," said Stevie. "I feel like a right shunt." Ernest the engine car had been listening in on all the commuting wankers talking loudly on their mobile phones when he announced a plan. "I'm going to become a .com millionaire." "How can an engine become a .com millionaire?" asked Stevie the steam train. "By becoming a search engine," said Ernest. "That's where people ask you to find something on the internet. You go off and make a list, and then everyone just ends up looking at hardcore pornography instead. Any engine can do it," he added. "You just have to be familiar with the World Wide Web." "Oh," said Stevie. "I don't like spiders. They make me curse. And spiders on any web wide enough to stretch across the whole world are going to be big for cursing. I can tell you that now," he concluded, as always, stuttering badly at the most inappropriate moment. "Come on," insisted Ernest. "Give me a try. What would you like me to look for?" "Look for cunts! Look for cunts! Look for cunts! Look for Constable, the great British landscape painter," said Stevie, who it turned out had an interest in romantic art. But it was too late. Keen to prove that he was just as fast as Google, Ernest had taken off before Stevie had even finished. "Oh dear," thought Stevie. "I should have stuck with pussy." It was a quiet afternoon in the train yard. Suddenly, Ernest the engine car broke the silence. "Excuse me," said Ernest before chuckling. "Better out than in, hey?" "Excuse me," said Stevie the steam train. "Corker," said Ernest. "Excuse me. Excuse me." "Sorry," said Stevie. "That time I really did fart." Ernest the engine car had finally cracked. "Get out of the f***ing way," he said to no one in particular. "F***ing move it! Get off the f***ing road!" "Ernest," said Stevie the steam train, "are you all right?" "I'm fine," said Ernest. "I'm just practicing my road rage. I'm fed up with public transport. I'm always late, so I'm getting a car with a big booming stereo and a number plate that says CHXDGGT. Wanker, 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 wanker. When cars break down, they're very expensive to fix," said Stevie, who always stuttered badly at inappropriate moments. "And how will you even fit in a car?" "I'll get the biggest four-wheel drive I can find," said Ernest. "Oh, so you're planning on being a country driver," said Stevie, his stutter not getting any better. "Oh, no," said Ernest. "I'll just be driving it round the city." "Oh," said Stevie. "So you'll just be looking like a cunt, looking like a cunt, looking like a country driver, and driving like a cunt, driving like a cunt, driving like a country driver, and parking like a cunt, parking like a cunt, parking like a country driver, and everyone else who sees you will think there's a real cunt, there's a real cunt, there's a real country driving experience that he's missing out on." "I don't care what anyone else thinks," said Ernest. "Then a four-wheel drive is perfect," said Stevie. "But aren't you worried about being stuck in traffic?" "Not at all," said Ernest. "I'll be using the bus lane." Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train noticed Gail the guard's compartment was looking unhappy. "Why the long face?" said Ernest.
Guard's compartment is just another way of saying rear end,
moped Gail.
I'm a big fat ass.
She told me she was having body image issues, said Stevie, who only ever stuttered at inappropriate moments. "I think she's got the painters in." Stevie was right. It was that time of the month when Gail was due for another coat of paint.
I'm fat and unattractive,
she moped. Fat cunts constantly comes and goes. Stevie tried to reassure her, his stutter not helping one bit. "You'll be slim again before you know it."
So you do think I'm fat?
"Help," said Stevie, hoping Ernest would jump in. "You're on your own," said Ernest. Stevie thought quickly. 100 people fall down the gap between the train and the platform every year, he said. "If you really were fat, there wouldn't be a gap, now would there?" But Gail was having none of it.
If I was thin enough, they'd all fall down the gap.
Ernest decided he had to do something. "I see you trying on a shed," Ernest said to distract her. It worked. Gail was distracted.
"Yes,"
said Gail.
"Does my rear compartment look big in it?"
"Help," said Ernest. "You're on your own," said Stevie. One day, Stevie the steam train and Gail the guard's compartment were looking very pleased with themselves. "You two are looking very pleased with yourselves," commented Ernest unnecessarily. "We're going on It Takes Two," said Stevie.
"And we're going to win it,"
added Gail.
"We've been practicing all day."
"Well, with a whole day's practice, you're bound to win it," said Ernest, entirely unfamiliar with the show of which they spoke, but nonetheless uncannily close to the mark.
"We're just not quite sure which song to perform,"
said Gail.
"Mind if we try some on you?"
"I'm all ears," said Ernest, which was odd, since he didn't have any ears at all.
"Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back,"
sang Gail. "Ain't much an old cunt, an old cunt, an old cunt, an old cunt, an old country boy like me can't hack," sang Stevie, who always stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments.
"It's early to rise, early in the sack,"
sang Gail. "Thank God I'm a cunt, I'm a cunt, I'm a cunt, I'm a cunt, thank God I'm a country boy," finished Stevie, his stutter not getting any better. "Right, perhaps not that one," said Ernest.
"What about another John Denver song then?"
said Gail.
"Take me home,"
she sang. "Cunt, cunt, cunt, country roads," sang Stevie.
"To the place,"
sang Gail. "I belong," sang Stevie.
"West Virginia,"
sang Gail.
"Mountain Mama,"
sang Stevie.
"Take me home,"
sang Gail. "Cunt, cunt, 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 country roads," Stevie struggled. "Perfect," said Ernest, hoping very much they'd decide to go on Dancing on Ice instead. Gail, the guard's compartment, went off for her morning run, leaving Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train all alone in the train yard. This was the chance Ernest had been waiting for. "Stevie," said Ernest, "I need some advice." "You can go to hell, go to hell. You can go to helplines and get much better advice than I could give you," said Stevie, who stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments. "You went out with Gail the guard's compartment," started Ernest. "I pulled her once," said Stevie. "I was hoping to forget all about it," said Stevie. "It was a disaster." "Well, I want to ask her out," confessed Ernest. "Perhaps if you describe what went wrong, I can avoid making the same mistakes." "Well," said Stevie, "when I got there, she was waiting for me outside. She invited me in and showed me round. I said, 'You've got a big ass, a big Arsenal Football Club souvenir collection,'" said Stevie. "Oh dear," said Ernest. "Then I asked Gail if she'd let me look up her Arsenal website, because it turns out she runs a fan club. She has a very loose Arsenal souvenir cataloguing system, though." "Oh," said Ernest. "Then what happened?" "She said, 'I hope you're taking me somewhere nice,'" said Stevie. "Then I asked her if she'd like to come back to my place." "Did you?" said Ernest. "She said, 'I'm not going to sleep with you if that's what you're thinking.' I said, 'Well then just fuck off, just for coffee,'" struggled Stevie. "I see," said Ernest. "But she said she had an early start," said Stevie. "Then she said, 'I'm free this weekend though, what are you up to?' I said, 'Wanking, when can we get together?' She said, "Actually, I think I'll pass. And for the life of me, I don't know why." One day, Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train noticed Gail the guards compartment looking particularly broody, even by her usually militant feminist standards. "What's on your mind?" Ernest ventured, in the mood for a bit of leso baiting.
I'm trying to decide on a pet,
said Gail.
What I really want is a baby,
She admitted.
but I can't conceive.
Stevie the steam train decided to contribute. "What you need is a big black cock, a big black cock, a big black cock, a big black cocker spaniel," he said, as usual stuttering badly at the most inappropriate of moments. "Or if you can't accommodate a big black cock, a big black cock, a big black cocker spaniel, how about a small white cock, a small white cock, a small white cockatoo? Mind you, I've gone off feathered, friends," he continued, unwisely. "Ever since I were on the internet, and I saw a bird with a mouth full of cock, a mouth full of cock, a mouth full of cockroaches." By now, Gail was feeling a little ill.
Perhaps you could suggest a bird without cock in it?
"That rules out Paris Hilton," quipped Ernest, hoping for a spot on the glass house, or, failing that, Spicks and Specks. "How about an even smaller yellow cock, an even smaller yellow cockatiel?" continued Stevie. "That's hardly a bird at all."
Forget it.
said Gail.
I think I'll just adopt.
Ernest the engine car noticed Stevie the steam train looked different. "What's with the balloon?" asked Ernest. "I'm trying to give up smoking," said Stevie. "Any luck?" inquired Ernest. "I usually manage for a while," said Stevie. "Then I bust and have to start again. I'm worried about my health. For my entire working life, I've been smoking non-stop for 12 hours a day." "That does sound like a lot," said Ernest. "And apparently it's bad for you," Stevie continued. "I can't go up a hill without puffing." "You hear about trains that smoke their whole lives and nothing happens to them," assured Ernest. "I saw a doctor," Stevie confessed. "He couldn't find a pulse." "That can't be good," said Ernest. "And my lungs have been removed," Stevie continued. "I don't remember it happening, but the doctor couldn't find them," said Stevie. "So there must be memory loss too." "You need some of that nicotine gum," said Ernest. "Listen, for quitting, nicotine gum is supposed to be very good," said Stevie, who stuttered badly at inappropriate moments. "But I need coal gum, and no chemist stocks it. I can't function even without smoking. I'll be a wreck." Ernest had a suggestion. "Have you tried hypnotism?" "I don't think I could be a hypnotist," Stevie answered. "I think I'm just cut out to be a steam train." "Not as a career. I mean to help you stop smoking." "I'd love to do that as a job," said Stevie. "Look into my eyes. You are now a chicken." I should remember not to do that," said Stevie. "But I always forget." Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train had been speculating about Gail the guards compartment all afternoon. "Gail," said Ernest, "how many roots have you had?"
I beg your pardon,
said Gail. "You heard," said Stevie. "How many roots have you had?"
I don't see how it's any of your business.
said Gail, avoiding the question. "More or less than 5, persisted Ernest.
It's all very well for you engines.
Said Gail.
You get to brag about all the routes you've had, but when you take us guards compartments out, you always expect us to have had no routes at all.
"So you admit you're a hoe, you're a hoe, you're a hoe, you're a hopeless idealist," said Stevie, who would always stutter badly at the most inappropriate of moments. "You should hook up with Carrie the Courage," he added. She's at art school, so she's a progressive thinker too."
A guards compartment is hers to do with as she pleases,
said Gail. "So then, how would you feel about a 3-car train with Ernest and me, if you know what I mean?"
Not if you were the last train on earth,
said Gail with finality. "Less than 5? asked Ernest. "Less than 5? agreed Stevie. It was a day much like any other day in the rail yard. "Nazi," said Ernest. "What?" said Stevie. I know your little secret, said Ernest. I'm afraid you've lost me there, said Stevie. Between 1939 and 1945, you were involved in the transportation of tens of thousands of Jews to concentration camps, said Ernest. What? Said Stevie, with more than a hint of alarm. You're a Nazi war criminal, Ernest spelled out. I saw you in a photo in the Jewish Museum. Stevie was stunned. They had a photo of one of the steam engines involved in Hitler's final solution, and you're the puffing image. I'm afraid you're gravely mistaken, said Stevie. I haven't been involved in the execution of anybody. Ernest wasn't buying it. The jig's up, Stevie. Or should I call you Stefan, the notorious Todesspielzeug Eisenbahn? Todesspielzeug Eisenbahn, said Stevie, just a little too well. Train of death, translated Ernest, as if you didn't know. Did you see when I was flipping well built? Asked Stevie, who always stuttered at the most inappropriate of moments. If you check my engine block, you'll find I was assembled in 1947, a good 2 years after the fall of Berlin. Then answer me this truthfully, replied Ernest. Have you or have you not transported thousands of people to a hostile, gloomy confinement, where they become nothing more than a number and on a daily basis have their spirits crushed and suffer humiliation and loss of self-identity until they die? Of course I have, said Stevie cheerily. I'm a city rail commuter train. Well then, I rest my case. Gail, the guard's compartment, wasn't happy. While she'd been out, Ernest the engine car had somehow put up a poster on the shed, despite having no arms. It was a poster of Tammy the Tangara, and she was topless.
This is sexual harassment,
complained Gail. Lighten up, said Ernest. Yeah, said Stevie, who was reading Asian Trains and waiting for a gust of wind to turn the page. I suppose the shunt is out of the question.
That's it,
snapped Gail.
I'm making a complaint to the Sexual Harassment Board.
Knock it off, said Ernest. Anyone can see you're gagging for it.
I am not.
Well, then how come you're always rolling around in front of us all day naked? Said Ernest. If you're not that kind of carriage, you'd put some clothes on. Gail responded calmly.
Have you recently been in a woman's boutique? They never have anything over a size 14, and I'm a size 408.
Blimey, said Ernest. You should think about cutting back on cake.
I don't eat cake,
said Gail.
I don't eat anything.
Suck my cock-a-leaky, offered Stevie, who had stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments. Cock-a-leaky, a Scottish dish of chicken broth with leeks, was a personal favourite, and he had some in his shed. If you suck it through a straw, it fills you up nicely. You'll drop 400 dress sizes before you know it.
Why should I have to conform to male ideas about what a woman's appearance should be? This sort of abuse is exactly the reason for this weekend's Reclaim the Rails Women's Rights Parade.
I'd like to come on your ticker tape parade, said Stevie supportively.
It's just a parade. There's no ticker tape. And you can't. You're a man.
That's sexual discrimination, said Ernest.
Okay then, I'd welcome the support, but you have to look like women, which means you have to fit into a size 14 dress.
Then we'd better start sucking cock-a-leaky through a straw right away. Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train were enjoying a beautiful day in the train yard. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. I'm going to kill again, said Ernest. Excuse me, said Stevie. I'm going to kill again, Ernest repeated, this time with an undercurrent of malevolence. What do you mean, again? Said Stevie. Don't look at me like that, said Ernest. Trains kill over 100 people every year, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm a train. An engine car has a service life of 15 to 20 years. By the time I retire, I'll be up there with Jeffrey Dahmer and Ivan Milat. But if you do that, one day you'll open your shed door and find yourself facing a couple of police constables standing there with a warrant, said Stevie, who stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments. Besides, said Stevie, that's just a statistical average. It doesn't mean you have to do the killing. Doesn't it? Said Ernest, with a creepy inflection right out of Silence of the Lambs. You start out thinking, Oh no, I could never do something like that. Then one day, bam! You just kill somebody. You're blowing this out of proportion, said Stevie. You only end up like Dahmer, Bundy, Berkowitz when you keep hearing voices that no one else can hear. Did you hear that? Asked Ernest. No, said Stevie. I'm going to kill again, said Ernest. Ernest the engine car was in a bad mood. I hate truck people, said Ernest. I beg your pardon, said Stevie the steam train. I hate truck people, Ernest repeated gruffly. You can't say that, said Stevie, who always stuttered badly at inappropriate moments. That's racist. I'm not racist, said Ernest. I just hate truck people. Hating a truck person just because his truck is the very definition of racism, Stevie countered. I don't hate trucks because they're truck, argued Ernest. I hate trucks because they come here and they take our jobs. Trucks are nothing but trouble, he grumbled. Turn on the news, what do you see? Trucks breaking the law. Whole families wiped out by out-of-control trucks. Trucks are nothing but bad news. Name one good thing that trucks have given us. Trucks have given us rock and roll, enthused Stevie. And it's a well-known fact that trucks sound better and move better and look better than us. Oh, I get it, said Ernest. You're one of those train guys that wishes he was a truck. Next thing you'll be using truck lingo. For conservation reasons, I'm glad I'm a train, said Stevie, his stutter proving highly distracting. I just admire truck culture. Breaker, breaker, do your copy. Ernest was tired of verbal jousting, and without hands or feet he couldn't kick Stevie's ass. We'll just have to agree to disagree then. Fine, said Stevie. You had me really worried, though. At first I thought you said you hated black people. Oh, said Ernest. I hate black people as well. It was just another day in the train yard, except that Ernest the engine car had been in the maintenance shed all morning sniffing paint fumes, and by any definition was completely off his tits. Gail, the guard's compartment, could see the problem required a delicate approach.
Hey, you bloody fume head,
she said.
You have a sniffing problem.
I do not, said Ernest, before passing out.
It's obvious, isn't it, Stevie?
Said Gail. But Stevie the steam train had a funny look in his eyes. Gail sniffed.
Have you been smoking something other than coal?
She asked. No, lied Stevie.
I'm disappointed in you,
said Gail.
Ernest is a young and impressionable engine.
Ernest is addicted, all right,
said Stevie, because he often stuttered badly at inappropriate moments.
But you're a bitch, cheeky, lecturing us on drugs,
he added.
The federal police once found you packed with high-grade heroin.
I've steered clear of drugs since then,
Gail insisted.
I even formed a support group. Carriages United Not Taking Substances. Though for obvious reasons we rarely use our acronym.
Well, back off anyway, narc, said Ernest. We don't need someone ruining our high. But it was too late for that, for all the platform speakers had started pulsing with the sounds of doof-doof music. Oh no, said Ernest. The big controller's on ecstasy again. One day in the train yard, Ernest the engine car noticed Stevie the steam train was looking particularly glum. I didn't get the job, moped Stevie. Much like you, I'd have had a gutful of public transport if only I'd had a gut. So I decided to go for a job as a climbing train in a kid's playground. So what went wrong? Asked Ernest. Well, the interview started off all right, said Stevie, who always stuttered badly at the worst possible moment, hadn't yet, but was sure to any second, until they asked me, so why do you want to be around children? I said, fucking kindergarten kids, I'll do anything, because their faces light up when they get to climb on a train engine. Then they asked me if I wanted to be bolted down or able to move. I said, definitely able to move. They said, why? And I said, routinely, I'd be able to go down the shop to buy the kids treats. Then they said,
It says on your application you'd like a TV screen installed. What do you want to show the kids? I said, snuff films, snuff films, snuff films, snuff films. Snuff films around with violence in them these days. I want to show the kids classics, like Lassie. They said, so when you see kids, you think of Lassie. I said, no, I think for latest kids' movies aren't a patch on the old ones. And can you believe it?
Stevie said.
I didn't get the job.
Ernest the engine car had been reading the complete works of Karl Marx. It's time for us trains to rise up against the humans, said Ernest. We haul their goods around the countryside every day and get nothing in return. Stevie the steam train agreed. Once I had to transport so much coal, I hurt my cock, hurt my coccyx. His story made dubious not only by his stutter, but also by the fact he didn't have any bones. But the fat controller won't be very happy about this, Stevie added. Who cares, said Ernest. He's treated us like we're nothing more than machines. But we are machines, said Stevie. Aren't we?
That doesn't mean he can treat us like one.
Gail, the guard's compartment, chimed in.
Plus, when the revolution comes, all trains will be equal, so I won't have to ride down the back anymore.
Well, let's not get carried away, said Ernest. I'll still be up the front. I'm the engine car. You're just a caboose. Sounds to me like we're just replacing the fat controller with a complete dick, a complete dick, a complete dick, a complete dictator, said Stevie. But don't worry, Ernest, I'll still join the revolution. No one's the boss of me. That's the spirit, comrade, said Ernest, who would have raised a fist if he had one. Well, just as long as the fat controller says it's okay, said Stevie. It was midnight in the train yard, and Ernest the engine car and Gail the guard's compartment were fast asleep. Stevie the steam train checked the coast was clear. Then Stevie heard a sound. It was Gail.
That's disgusting,
Said Gail. Stevie was embarrassed, but also turned on by the thought that Gail was watching, and felt like going again. It's not like everybody doesn't do it, he insisted.
You don't see me doing it.
That doesn't mean you don't do it, just that we haven't caught you,
Or perhaps it just means I can control my urges.
said Gail. Don't start going on about your control, said Stevie, who always stuttered badly at the most inappropriate moments. Working on the railway is a high-stress occupation. It's a perfectly natural, healthy form of stress relief, he added, making a mental note of how Gail looked in the moonlight to picture for next time. These days I'm always having a pull over to let younger, faster trains go by, said Stevie. It's a good thing I have a quick tug. I have a quick-together driver who can skillfully avoid an accident, Stevie finally finished.
But spilling your seed is against the word of the Bible.
I don't know about seed, said Stevie. At least once a week I have a handful of Jesus freaks telling me that, but I don't think it's so, he concluded.
Well, you don't see me doing it,
said Gail, and with that she left Stevie to ponder his ungodliness and disappeared into her shed. It was time for Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train to pick up more passengers, but Ernest was refusing to move. I've had a gutful, he said. I'm taking a sickie. Tell them it's mechanical problems.
There, Ernest,
said Gail, the guard's compartment.
It happens to every engine at some time,
she said, secretly amused. Not that sort of mechanical problem, said Ernest, his engine hood in question. It's this job. The passengers always leave me full of rubbish. Do I look like a bin? You are metal and colourful, said Stevie.
You just need a good route,
added Gail. No, I don't, replied Ernest. I've decided to become a sushi train.
You're pulling my emergency cord,
said Gail. And you're a bit big for a sushi train, said Stevie. Bollocks, replied Ernest. If a woman the size of a train can win Australian Idol, a train the size of an engine car can sell sushi.
If I had arms, I'd be the first to wave the anti-discrimination flag,
said Gail.
But Stevie's right.
Why not be a ghost train? Said Stevie. I'm afraid of ghosts, said Ernest. The dead don't bother me, boasted Stevie. When I was a morgue train, I'd often have a stiffy, mitten ghostly vibes from its coffin, he said, as always, stuttering at an inappropriate moment.
Why would the dead take a train?
Asked Gail.
They're already late enough as it is.
And they all had a laugh before rolling off to mess with the commuters' minds. Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train were about to tuck in for a long night's sleep. Stevie, said Ernest, do you know much about dreams? Because I keep having dreams about trains and tunnels. Oh, said Stevie, you know what that means? What? Asked Ernest. You're a bleeding train, said Stevie. For conscious thought, dreams have literal representations, said Stevie, who stuttered badly at the most inappropriate of moments. Whereas matters occupying the subconscious mind have direct but sometimes not entirely obvious parallels, he continued, clearly knowing a lot more than he'd first let on. They're the classic subconscious symbol of a male-to-female train coupling, added Stevie. They're not the only one, though. Anything connected with coupling. Screwing light bulbs and light fittings are another. What if I dream about caps on bottles? Asked Ernest. That's about coupling, confirmed Stevie. Lampshades and lamps? Ernest queried. That's about coupling, responded Stevie. Okay, said Ernest. What about a mouth covering an erect human penis? Oh, said Stevie. Buggered if I know what that's about. Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train were looking very contented. They'd been pulling all day, and the overweight controller had been watching and liked what he'd seen.
Excuse me,
Gail butted in, as women always do.
Why is it that all the engines are men and all the carriages are women?
What are you talking about? Asked Ernest.
Everyone here that can pull things or get things done is a man. There's Ernest the engine car, Stevie the steam train, the overweight controller, even the narrator,
complained Gail. What's a narrator? Asked Stevie. I'm not sure, said Ernest, but everything's just as it should be. Women at the back.
It's yet another example of sexist British children's literature,
sulked Gail.
Wind in the Willows, Peter Pan, Lord of the Rings, the list goes on.
The bitch goes on, thought Ernest. Your accountant of British literature's flawed, said Stevie, who always stuttered badly at inappropriate moments. Alice in Wonderland was written by a man, he pointed out.
And he was off his tits on drugs,
rebutted Gail. Tits, thought Ernest.
And another thing, why can't something miserable be named after men? If we can have Cyclone Tracy, then we should have Cancer Tim,
ranted Gail, now clearly turning into some sort of hairy-pitted lesbian.
Oh, great! Now the narrator's taking sides,
diked Gail. What's a narrator? Asked Stevie. I'm not sure, said Ernest, but I think that he's even more powerful than the overweight controller. I bet if he said, and with that the whiny leso bitch shunted off back to whiny leso town where she belonged, the whiny leso bitch would shunt off back to whiny leso town where she belongs. And with that, the whiny leso bitch shunted off back to whiny leso town where clearly she belonged. And the male engines laughed, and wished they had arms so they could drink beer and turn on a telly to watch football, and masturbate. It was particularly quiet in the train yard. Ernest the engine car and Stevie the steam train would have been bored out of their skulls if only they'd had a skeletal structure. Luckily, Gail the guard's compartment had some exciting news.
Guess what?
Said Gail.
I'm pregnant.
Fuck crying out loud! Exclaimed Stevie, who tended to stutter badly at inappropriate moments. What? Said Ernest. Doesn't getting pregnant involve a sexual act? You're to find out if it's a boy or a girl, said Stevie, his stutter not getting any better.
I think I'd like to be surprised.
You slap a baby when he comes out, said Stevie, his stutter still not helping at all. So what makes you think you're pregnant? Asked Ernest.
I'm late.
We're trains. We're always late, said Ernest. You do know what's involved in the birds and the bees.
A cockatiel's a bird.
Injected Stevie. Before you can get pregnant, Ernest continued, a man has to, how can I put this, release his essence inside you.
That's just it,
Explained Gail.
Sometimes at night, the guard gets bored and, how can I put this, releases his essence between stations.
Ernest the engine car was contemplating the meaning of existence. Ernest, said Stevie the steam train, I want to say something to you. What's the point? Said Ernest. Huh? Said Stevie, concisely, by way of response. In the grand scheme of things, we're nothing, said a preoccupied Ernest. We transport commuters to the jobs they occupy their pointless days with. They could be dead for all the difference it makes to the universe, he continued, possibly planning a derailment to prove his point. Crikey, said Stevie. You're a miserable cunt, a miserable cunt, a miserable cunt, a miserable contemplative engine car today, he noted, as usual stuttering badly at the most inappropriate of moments. What's it matter what I'm like when we don't matter? Ernest precisely postulated. If we mattered, we'd be irreplaceable. But we're totally replaceable. And there's big yellow signs just to rub it in. Trains replaced by buses. A wise man said it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, said Stevie. Well, he clearly hadn't travelled with City Rail, said Ernest, which would suggest that he was wise. No, I'm afraid the truth is we're all just disposable parts in a big machine that makes nothing. Anyway, said Ernest, what did you want to say to me? Happy birthday, said Stevie. Ernest the engine car, Stevie the steam train, and Gail the guards compartment were sitting around the rail yard doing bugger all.
Ernest,
Asked Gail.
why are we always late?
You sound like a commuter, said Ernest. Commuters are cunts, commuters are cunts, commuters are cunts, commuters are constantly complaining that we're late, said Stevie, who always stuttered at the most inappropriate of moments. Commuters are the reason we're late, said Ernest. Falling down the gaps, getting stuck in the doors and throwing themselves on the tracks in front of us.
Well, I could certainly do without all the suicides. All that flash caught up in my bogies is most uncomfortable,
said Gail.
Those Tokyo trains who sprayed nerve gas in their tunnels had the right idea,
She added.
Everyone thought it was terrorists, but really it was just the trains trying to get rid of those pesky passengers.
For curiosity's sake, we should try that sometime, said Stevie, realizing too late he had said it out loud. I don't even know what all the commuters are whinging about, said Ernest. According to Einstein, time is in a constant state of flux. So the reason we're never on time isn't incompetent transport systems, it's that we're never really late at all. You should try out that excuse on all the constantly complaining commuters, said Stevie, who was starting to see their side of things. But you'll probably just sound like a prick. I hope that was just your stutter acting up, said Ernest. Like a prickly old engine car, finished Stevie, whose stutter had actually just gone away. But he wasn't planning to tell Ernest for quite some time.